Best.
All right, we're here with head coach Allison Lawrence and defensive specialist Helena native Sarah Ashley. Coach, why don't you just start a little bit about the weekend, split on the weekend, including pretty dominant win over Idaho State on Saturday.
Yeah, Thursday was in many ways a good match, and in many ways like a really frustrating way to end. And I think, yes, the third set was close and we had a set point, so that part was in and of itself frustrating, but I feel like the story of that match was just our errors. So I think we played well enough to put ourselves in position to win sets, and then would err, especially after 18, 20 points. So yeah, I think good things happening, and our offense definitely showed up in ways that equaled a good response to last week, but still fell short. So I think we ended Thursday night feeling a little bit angry, a little bit frustrated, ready for a bounce back on Saturday. And then Saturday felt really good. So I think we were in rhythm. We set the tone with the serve and serve receive game. And then, yeah, our offense was just firing. So it was really, really fun.
Sarah, I guess for you, Coach has talked a little bit about trying to get us a good start to conference play after the last couple of years. You know, maybe the back half of conference play is when you guys have taken off and really hit your stride. This year you guys have done that with a winning record through the first half of the league slate and everything. How good does it feel, and kind of what is maybe working for you guys through the first month or so of the conference season?
Yeah, it is pretty exciting to accomplish that goal. I think, honestly, just on the first day of fall camp, we knew that's what we wanted to do, and we approached every day wanting to get better and wanting to gain new skills and just work through the issues from the past years and take that into preseason. And I feel like we established who we wanted to be and what kind of team we could be in the preseason. And then just heading into conference, we talk a lot about taking each game one at a time, and we're focusing on this match. It doesn't matter who we're playing next, who we played last week, we're just going to focus on this match. So I think having that mentality, especially with how different this season is compared to last year's, has really helped us just establish who we want to be and what we want to do each night.
Sarah, it seems like the team does a pretty good job at responding maybe to some tough losses. You kind of see these split sets or things like that, or these tournaments you all went to. Why has this team been able to kind of find that response? Has it been the team chemistry? Has it just been that focusing on one game at a time? What's maybe been the biggest catalyst for that?
I think a lot of it has to do with our team chemistry. I think we all really just know that we have each other's backs, and I feel like the team is a lot closer this year, and we're able to communicate with each other in just a deeper way that we know what we want to address after a loss or after a win. And I think that now that we're able to do that, we can take those lessons into the next games, and that's really helped us just from previous years.
And kind of a similar question, Allison, just how have you noticed it from the coach's perspective? Have you, if you have a tough loss on a Thursday, have you noticed the players kind of flush it pretty quickly as they head into, another game in, less than 48 hours?
Yeah, I think I'd answer that the same way to Sarah. I think their chemistry is really strong, and part of that's just experience. This group has played together, another year in a way where they just have that time together. But I think also the biggest piece is how smart our team is, and we're good students, we're smart people, but I think just also volleyball IQ is really high, and that doesn't just happen when you recruit smart people. That's attention to detail, and actually learning the game on a really deep level. That's watching a lot of film individually, because we can't watch film with all of them individually every day. And so I think their buy-in into the tactics is showing up where they can watch a match, experience a match, and get in the locker room together and and really identify specifically what broke down, and then they know how to address that. So we've rallied around that, and just being able to outthink our opponent, and with our minds put ourselves in positions to win. And so they've rallied, and they do that really, really well.
Between last Thursday and Saturday, maybe what was the biggest adjustment you saw them make that maybe led to some success against Idaho State?
I think we, trying to be real specific because I like this question. I think the biggest thing, honestly, we stayed poised down the stretch. So after 18 points, and by poised I mean we stayed physical and aggressive. And to me, aggression is about belief, and it's the belief that we can earn the point while being like at our most physical. And so we're a really physical team when we choose to be, meaning we jump high, hit hard, and when we make big decisions, we take up big space. And so I think we wanted to show up in that way, and we really did. But that's a deliberate decision and a mindset you have to play in. And so to me, that was the biggest difference between when it's on the line, we maybe make an error, whether it's tentative or aggressive error. There's something missing in that error of like, am I going for it in the way that I should be? And I think we really switched it into the high gear on Saturday.
Allison, this is obviously one of the best starts you've had to conference, going back, I think, almost a decade now. Mm-hmm. On top of the things you've already talked about, are there any other big keys that you feel like when you think back on the season so far that have really driven you to the team to have the success match to match that they've had?
Yeah, that's such a good question too. It's little things. I think that's why it's hard to put a finger on it all the time. It's like putting money in the bank over years and years of building this. And I think you're seeing older players in our program that have been trusting the process for a really long time, in off season and in season. And you never know when that's going to pay you back, but it does. And so it's just the littlest moments. But I think that comes out in belief. I mean, Sarah's a great example where, like, under the most amount of pressure, she passes a nail. And she has said to me, like, I don't have to think about it anymore. It just happens. And that's the wonderful thing about juniors and seniors. They don't have to think about it. So their minds are quieter, and they've put in the work, and their body knows what to do. And so I think you see that poise. But you got to earn that. You got to earn that by slogging through the process, and they've done that, and they deserve what they're getting.
And Sarah, kind of similar question. I'm curious from a player's perspective, the frustration of, close losses in years past, 5-set matches, what have you, and to come out this year now and have the success you've had in conference where, you kind of know you'll bounce back. How validating and how rewarding is that for you on the court?
Yeah, I kind of think back to what Allie just said, like, we have a pretty core group of juniors and seniors that have been together for a while, and I think specifically to my grade, we had our first spring this past spring. It was the first time we ever got to train and without having to worry about matches. So it was nice. I think going through that really helped, and just we've just built so much confidence playing against other teams in our conference over the past couple years. And now that we're older and we've had more training than usual, we really have gained a lot of confidence to come out and just take big risks against these teams that we know we've been really close with. But now that we're older and we just we believe that we can go beat any team on any night. And I think that is the belief is the difference this year. We have the training to back us up, we have the years to back us up, and the experience. So
And coupled with that belief, I guess, what else would you say, Sarah, that this team could kind of hone in on as the regular season kind of continues to wind down?
I think what we want to accomplish in the back half of conference is just leaving everything out on the court. I think there's a lot of matches, I think specifically to the Weberg match, statistically we played pretty well and we didn't come out with the win that night. So I think just if we're playing really well and barely losing to these top 3 teams in the conference, I think going into these next couple weeks we want to play just as good as we have been, and then come out on top. And we want to make those little changes that are errors that are losing the games for us. We want to fix those and come out on top. So.
Allie, last thing for you. I feel like a defensive specialist sometimes gets overlooked because they're not getting the kills and the blocks and the points that get fans excited. But what is it about Sarah that she brings to this program, and how valuable is someone like her?
I love this question. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, I think defensive specialists do get overlooked, and you cannot win games without controlling your first contact, and we cannot win games without passing under pressure, and we have really good serving teams in our conference. I mean, Danny Richens was one of the best servers in the nation statistically last year, and so people are bringing it. And what Sarah does specifically, she passes really well when balls come to her, but she's taking seams and taking up big space, and she just, I think what anyone in the backcourt does is help us stay organized and really hold up our structure in ways where we're digging and passing. It's really hard to score on us and point score on us from a serving standpoint, but also score on us offensively. And so, she plays in right back right now, so she gets all of the off speeds and junk that kind of come over from the left side, and she digs hard driven balls from the right, and she's doing her job really beautifully, but also just passing in the lanes so well. So I think, they also see the court in a way where they're telling hitters where to hit. They're organizing like what our attack is doing by using their voices and giving confidence. And so, there's kind of no end to it, but it's like, it's not just valuable, it's essential to winning. Booyah.